And as you step through, I want you to tell me the first thing that you see. Where are you?
I'm floating.
Floating. Very good. So as you're floating, look around you and tell me what's there. What do you observe?
It's like lots of lights.
Lots of lights. What colors are these lights?
Or when I came up the lift, each floor was a different color.
Mm-hmm.
And the pink and the green and the yellow and the blue and the indigo. And I got to the top and it was gold.
Beautiful.
And it's almost like all these lights from all the layers are all mixing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just sparkly lights everywhere. And as I went through the lift, it was a glass lift looking out at the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see all the stars and all the distant planets.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got to the 7, they said this is the 7th heaven.
Beautiful. What is in the 7th heaven? What do we find there?
It's celestial.
Mm-hmm. So I'd like for you now to connect with those that are there waiting for you. Who has come to meet?
The angels.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got white robes on and they're huge wings, and they are sitting around like they're having a coffee break. One sitting on a tree stump with his head like this under his chin, like he's acting, right? Mm-hmm. He's acting the fool about. I think on Earth there's a sculptor called Rodin, and it's like the thinker.
Yes.
And he's got his little hand on his chin, and they're just having a good time. They're just sort of hanging out, sort of taking a break.
Mm-hmm. So, what is it that they want to tell you today?
They're speaking about home,
and
what it is to have a home. Oh, and I'm getting so sad. Oh dear, there are so many on Earth that want to go home because they don't have the connection here. And then they show me all the homeless on Earth who've been abandoned. But those big angel wings, they're spreading them now like an albatross. You know those big albatross birds?
Yes.
How big they are with their wings spread. So these angels in the 7th heaven protect the homeless, shelter them with their wings until they're ready to go home.
When the angels help the humans, how is it that we feel them?
They say it's like a soft breeze, gentle breeze. They say some get goosebumps, you know, as if they've just got a little bit too chilly.
Yes.
And that's the energy, it's the vibration, gently, gently touching.
Is there a way for us to call those angels in order for us to feel those vibrations?
They said, change your form.
Mm.
They said there are many on earth now. Some do this,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when your form changes
What is
from
that?
being straight. When your arms are straight and you're walking or you're sitting.
Yes.
But this is you are consciously bringing it together to a point of stillness. And it's connected. It's making a line like that.
Mm-hmm.
They said others are now holding their hands out and up. And as I do this, I can feel the energy coming through. Because hands have to be open to receive.
Mm-hmm.
This one is in supplication, is the word they're using. This is more like an asking, right?
Yes.
Please help me, please help me. I'm struggling, this is what's happening in my life. However, this one is almost saying, I'm now open to receive.
Mm.
Like your will.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So now they're telling me, maybe not so much of this and a little bit more of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is more contracted, this is more open. And now they're saying it is a time for humanity to have a heart opening. Open up your hearts and let the light in.
Mm. How can a human open their heart with so much going on right now?
We want them to look in the mirror. If a human who hears this does not have a mirror, then we suggest they look in the window and see their reflection. For are they not here? Have they not been given the gift of life
Yes.
and breath?
Mm-hmm.
For there are many who are losing their breath this day, who would very much like to swap positions with them. For when one is about to lose one's last breath, then only does one give true thanks for the breath that one has had.
Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, the breath is the most important.
The breath is everything, for if there is no breath, there is no life.
Mm-hmm.
And Alba, you were talking to this one earlier about masks and being masked.
Yes.
But we say, who is behind the masking? Who are truly wearing masks that you cannot see what it is they are doing behind their masks? Who are the ones that have asked you to be masked? For it is separating you from each other.
Yes.
It is time in the privacy of your homes for those who are at martial law because of masks.
Mm-hmm.
They need to take some cleansing breaths. But Alba, this time, this too shall pass.
It seems like it's taking forever when you're in that situation.
When it is a joyful time, it seems to go by in seconds.
Yes.
And when it is a heavier time, it seems to take much longer. But did we not speak in our last session about the management of time?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So fill your days with small joys and find something that can uplift you daily. For this is what we wish at this time, for the vibrations to be high. But they are those leaders who call themselves leaders amongst you, who are setting the tone for a lower vibration.
Mm-hmm.
For the lower the vibration, the more fear that is agitated, the easier the people are to be ordered and controlled. And did we not say that this is what you term a new world, and it is being ordered?
Yes.
Fear not, for all has been ordained. It's all part of the plan. The light, as we said, is really opening, and the dark is pushing harder like a last defense. But it is at a tipping point, and you and this one who is doing this work have now opened many more. And we told this one many years ago that her work will be like a ripple on a pond, traveling over the oceans and reaching many. And she did not understand what we were talking about. But now, her words, which are our words, are now reaching many. And so it is a way in. When you weigh in for a pre-boxing match and they size each other up, this is a time for sizing oneself up. And we spoke to you earlier, Alba, today about what one stands for.
Yes.
This is a time to take a stand, make a stand. Each human that is listening to this broadcast, what is it that they actually stand for? They blindly go about their days, filling up on the outside in that we always talk about, a new dress, a new hairdo, a new pair of shoes. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. However, is it to their detriment or to their advantage? As they watch that blue box that we discussed earlier, and it is called a television.
Mm-hmm.
Who named it such, Alba?
Mm.
And we want you to break those words up. Tell a vision. What is the vision that they are telling you? How is it that when they watch the blue box and the advert comes on for the ice cream, and then they get up, walk over to the freezer, and then they suddenly want an ice cream, they do not even realize that they are being programmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they see the new car, the new washing machine, the new pair of shoes, the new holiday. And this is immediately something that they strive for. sometimes beyond their means. But that is okay, because the puppet masters have produced a little square piece of plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you humans term a credit card. And what happens with a credit card? Many are living beyond their means in order to what you term keep up with the Joneses, so that they do not feel inadequate. But we say, fill yourself up from the inside out, for your things do not define who you are, but you are now being manipulated, marketed, and taught that you are your things. And so, Alba, we gave you an example about the shoes. Could you please discuss this?
Well, right now I am preparing to pack. I'm packing to move somewhere. And I found many shoes that I had purchased that were brand new. The heels are too high now, too many of them. And so there's many that I'm just getting rid of that I'm not going to use. Only keeping the ones that are comfortable for me. So these are the shoes that I need to let go of, things that no longer belong in my life. They don't identify me any longer.
This is a time for freedom and power. When one gives one's things away that are now taking up wardrobes and cupboards of space, things and things and more things. And yet there are so many that are homeless and that are hungry. And one must ask the audience today how they feel within their heart when they truly give to another.
Mm-hmm.
For is this not truly what it is to be human, to share? For how much and at whose expense does one need? You know, Alba, these humans, these earthlings on this domain, we see so many of them, and now I'm shown the angels in the seventh heaven watching the humans on the earth stage.
Mm-hmm.
For it is nothing but a human play. It is a show. And they are showing us in the seventh heaven what it is that they are by their actions. For many say many words, but it is the actions that we know you by.
Yes.
For your actions do speak louder than words. So as they scurry along to their jobs that they do not want to be at, for did they not have such a break over COVID with their families to reconnect, reunite? But the blue box gives them a different version of life, for it addresses many, many wants and very, very few needs. So how much work would earthlings have to do if they didn't feel inadequate, if they knew who they were? They wouldn't have to spend their earth time scurrying around, filling themselves up from the outside in So they are acceptable to each other. For where is the authenticity? Where is the realness, the humanity? Alba, can you imagine what would happen to humanity if they cut the workload in half and they had 3 pairs of shoes instead of 20, 30, 40 pairs of shoes?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to spend their time buying stuff that they actually truly do not need.
Yes.
They would then be able to fill themselves up with each other, with laughter, with creativity, with new ideas. But the puppeteers, the marketeers, the controllers have set the system up with what you term the plastic card, the credit card, to enslave.
Mm-hmm.
So we would like to ask every human listening to this today, are they truly human? Or are they a slave human? How much do they need to fill themselves up from the outside before they realize who they are? When they start giving their trappings away, that is when they will be freer.
Mm-hmm.
Less to think about, less to worry about, less to look after. You know, Alba, this one is talking a lot today, but she has much to say on our behalf. She's now shown what you term a television series where they had a tribe that had never traveled on an airbird, an aeroplane, to a city called London. They were an indigenous tribe. They arrived in this big city and they were given an experience of staying with different families. And one of the families was a farmer and the farmer's wife. And because they were a tribe and they were the people that lived on the land, staying with the farmer instead of in the city gave them great joy. But what really perturbed them was going into the farmer's house and seeing lots of plates on a wall and lots of things everywhere, lots of cushions everywhere. And the farmer's wife would spend her time vacuuming with this machine they never saw before. They were petrified of it. And they asked her, what were the eating plates? What were the eating plates doing on the wall? Is this not a plate for eating? And why did she have so many plates?
Mm-hmm.
And why was she not spending time with her beloved outside in the land? It seemed to them that she purchased things that she had no need of, no practical need, and she put them on the wall. She didn't even use them. And I think, Alba, that is exactly the message that we would like to give today, to demonstrate that example of what it is we are trying to convey.
Wonderful. I have a question which has been rolling around in my mind since you started talking about this, and that is of the young people who we call influencers. And these are those that get on social media and they basically just take pictures of themselves with different clothing in different places. And most of those pictures are Photoshop. They're not really what they look like. How would you like to address that as we look into the souls of those people?
Well, that is really what we want to ask today. Is that humanity? What have you become? Even that you should have a term called influencer. Why would humans need to be influenced to be able to buy something? Have they truly become robotic? Have they become so disassociated from who they are that they need another's thoughts to be put into theirs? Now, those influencers are getting paid what you call money to sell somebody's brand. They are marketeers. And those that are being influenced look at the influencers as above them, as on a stage, watching this amazing life unfurl. But it is not one that fills one up for long. Yeah, we don't feel aligned with that particular thought pattern.
It seems that they're trying to fill themselves with something. By getting
but it is not lasting.
Yeah.
They're needing approval once again from the outside.
Yeah. Are we teaching our young children that we need to be approved of?
You know, Alba, this one attended many years ago a talk given by somebody called Dr. Jim Hertak. And at that talk was a lady who put an image on a screen, and there was an audible gasp from the audience. For on the screen was a very, very beautiful baby, about 8 months old, sitting, and it looked as if this pure baby was covered in tattoos. And this one looked at that and thought, which parent would cover such purity in tattoos? She was shocked. And then the screen came closer, and Alba, all over that baby, were images that had been stuck, and it was branding. Adidas, Nike, Gucci, Armani, Hermes, Starbucks, Converse, every single thing that you could think of that is being sold to the youngsters. And that producer that day told her audience that at the age of 3 years old, they are now having anxiety attacks from preschoolers, because when they get to their little kindergarten, on their little backpacks, if the latest blue box is saying Barney or the dinosaur or Dora the Explorer, and then they sell the merchandise if that little child hasn't got the Dora the Explorer's backpack or lunchbox, she doesn't feel part of the tribe. At the age of 3,
Wow.
they are being so marketed. So humanity has to think, what are they doing to their humaneness at this stage that a little human is feeling inadequate and aware of the inadequacy at the age of 3? What are they setting those children up for the rest of their life? That you are nothing but a buying machine, and as long as you adhere to the latest advertising campaign, you will be accepted and acceptable. What is it that humanity is doing to themselves? It is time to switch off the machine.
Well, it's a much peaceful world when you do that. I haven't watched it for over 11 years, and it's definitely changed me. Even
well, you have been deprogrammed, Alba.
It's kind of hard to be in the normal world once you have been. It's like you live in your own world.
But Alba, that is your inner world.
Yes.
So do we not say to be of this world, but in?
Yes.
In.
One of the things that was written to us before we started this discourse was about the humanity, but also about technology. And, there was technology before, which is technology that we consider magic now. They were the magical schools that used different technology, vibration, chanting, things like that. Can you talk about that? Today I witnessed something which was very magical, and I'd like to talk to you about that for a moment. It's a man who has an instrument, and in this instrument, he was making sounds with it, just musical sounds with it. And he called it he was bringing forth the angels in order to heal with those sounds. And as I was listening to the sounds that he was making and the chanting, every hair in my body was tingling, standing up, and vibrations from head to toe. These vibrations, this technology that was used before, can it be used again?
When you learn to disengage with that which is artificial, the artificial stimulation of the blue box, which is a control box. For you are all magical. For you are made of your photonic structure, of light, frequency, sound, creating matter. So that sound and vibration, the sound was emitted and you felt the vibration.
Yes.
Your structure reacted to that. So can you then tell me, Alba, why is it that everybody watching the blue box is not getting that same feeling? Because they are disconnected. So in ancient days, many rocks were lifted into places of great weight through a vibrational tuning fork. Humanity have forgotten these techniques. And these techniques, true technology of the gods, that came through the gods, through the human form, into what the gods formed, which was this earth plane. And they placed these structures, many with hands, changing the vibrational patterns, as we have taught this one to be a great healer with her hands, with the structures, with the divine patterns. This has been a lost art. Alba, we wish for you to work with your frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
We are aware of the other work that you are doing. We encourage this.
Thank you. I have a question about those rocks. When I was in Peru, for the first time in my life, I placed my hands on rocks and was able to see through the eyes of those rocks. Can you tell me about the consciousness of those rocks?
Alba, everything is frequency. A tree is frequency. Water is frequency. Light is frequency. Rocks, stones, flowers, everything has frequency. This one that you are talking to today, when she was a little girl, she was able to physically see frequency. She would see it around buildings. She would see it around people. She would see it around plants. And she termed it God's glory, and she was not incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
For your frequency has lifted, your photonic structure has changed. And so you are being able to meld more with nature. You are able to read the energy. So by placing your hand on the rocks, Alba, you are able to tap in to that timeline and literally read the rock story, for everything holds a story. Alba, this one, when she was in Peru with you, something made her put her hands on those big rocks. And as she did, they parted and they unfolded a bit of their story. At the top, with all the stairs going up, was the high priest with his sun god, rays, headdress, and his chest pieces, and he beckoned her, come and join us for the ceremony. But then she was stopped, because to her left was Sabrina. Sabrina had her hand on the rock and said, do you hear the drums? Do you hear the drums? So you were all going into that timeline of nature. And Alba, we see your great love of trees.
Yes.
Trees hold much wisdom for you, Alba. For when you are tired, we ask for you to sit next to a tree, put your back next to the tree's back as an alignment, like a supplication, like a greeting, and let its warmth and its friendship and its knowledge come to you, for were you not a Sasquatch?
Yes.
This was a happy home for you. And you lived with nature, and nature lived with you.
Mm-hmm.
You had very big feet, Alba, and you were well grounded. And that is why you bring through that groundedness to this current life. And when we said we're turning up your volume, the volume that we are giving you is to teach others how to ground themselves for your messages through this one and many others on your platform. We'll be giving them your Sasquatch feet.
Well, right now I am feeling a great yearning to be around trees. It's more than a yearning. It's like I have to be there.
There's a special spot for you, Alba. And this one tree in particular has very big branches. This tree is going to be giving you great comfort. And it's just waiting for you to come home.
Good. Well, I'll need some help in finding it. It's a big country.
It is already in process, Alba.
Yes.
Trust the process.
Thanks. Wonderful. So one of the things that's happening here also is there's a lot of unrest, and we were talking about what makes your blood boil. And what can we do now to ground these people whose blood is boiling?
We take you back to the breath work.
Mm-hmm.
And we taught this one a word. And we wrote it across the sky on a clear blue day. And it said J-O-Y, joy. And this one, Alba, she has great cheek. She said to us, joy, that's pretty pathetic. Is that the best you can do? And so we replied, just own yourself. There are many at the moment that want to put their noses into other people's business, and they are very righteous, they are very self-righteous. For this mask wearing has created fear in many. And the mask wearers do not wish, those that do not wish to wear the masks, to be able to have the freedom to choose, for they fear their very lives are at stake.
Yes.
But those that do not choose to wear the masks are feeling that their lives are at stake if they do wear the masks.
Yes.
For they feel they cannot breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So who is right and who is wrong? Neither. For both are looking at it from their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And we taught this one in areas of conflict. Please, to be like a bird and have a bird's eye view to rise above the situation, to be able to see both sides.
Mm-hmm.
For how does a mask wearer understand the freedom and the power that the mask, the one that does not have the mask, wishes to be free? And the one that does not want to wear the mask, because they are free, cannot understand how the other one wants to be treated. And so you have temperatures that rise, and as the temperatures rise, you have what's termed the blood is boiling.
Yes.
So one has to look at the situation to find out why the blood is boiling. And we say on any situation on earth, when your blood is boiling, it is because you are no longer in control. And a human does not like to not be in control. And unfortunately, Alba, at this time, this mask wearing and not mask wearing are leading to much bigger problems, because underneath the surface, the temperature is being turned up, and the boiling is growing and growing. And so issues that were non-issues before are now becoming big issues. And this is when we spoke about the violence.
Mm-hmm.
And domestic violence has been increasing during this period because of the frustrations of being locked up. They call it a lockdown, but it is a lockup. It is a jailing, a closing in. Instead of a time for expansion, it is a time for contraction. So neither party is right or wrong. So what we wish to say is just own yourself. Be as calm as you can during this time. If you have to wear the mask due to the martial law, do it when you only have to, and breathe freely in the confines of your own home. But when you are calm, your vibration, your frequency will spread like ripples on a pond. And Alba, that is why we wish for you to use your machine.
Thank you.
For this will help many.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for that. You know, I've been doing these gatherings, putting people together so that we could spread our light, because I know that together we could raise that frequency. Just having a few people do that. From your point of view, from a higher point of view, when we get, right now we're not even allowed to congregate. So what would you like to tell those that know this? They know that if we gather together, we can make a change, an impact in the world.
Vibrations come from the seventh heaven to many, and yet you do not see them. They gather you under the angel wings. And so there is a gathering. The gatherings that you have in place, Alba, have affected many. And you have what you term a Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Whether they are in person or whether they are online, they will feel the energy. It is better for humanity to be close to each other. Their frequency gives off a little spark, a little buzz when they are close to each other. That is why they have been missing their hugs so much.
Yes.
Because like the tree that we spoke to you about, when you are going to be with that tree and you will get filled up, the hug, the human contact fills them up. However, in the interim, they need to be online. Alba, if you have the time or the capacity, speak to your time manager in order to see if you can create more Zooms.
You know, you spoke about the frequencies. I'd like to speak about disease and how our belief system causes disease. How does that work?
This one, many years ago, had what is termed a skiing accident, and it was severe. We actually instigated that accident, for her energy was everywhere, discombobulated, and we needed her to do work for us. But while she still had her two legs, she was all over the show. We told her if she didn't slow down, we would take her out. And on the first day of a new ski season, she helped another soul. And we gave her the freedom of what it felt like to fly. She came down that ski field faster than she'd ever been, and she truly felt like she was flying. And then her one ski hit a tiny pocket of snow, and that ski touched her forehead. And it went snap, snap, crack, crack, crack. And we did major damage, for we needed her to be quiet for quite a while. When she went for her MRI, she never listened to what's termed breakfast radio. But her husband took her children to school that day, for she had the MRI appointment. And we made her turn on the radio, and the radio announcer said, if you ever go for an MRI and they ask if you want music, say no. Because they put the headphones on, and then the music goes la la la, and then suddenly the MRI starts, and it goes ba 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 ba, and then la la la. And we actually wished for this one to hear no music that day, for we wanted to make one of our first appearances. And as she was lying on the MRI table, this one, who has never been a religious person, who still can't get her head around your last session, said to the All That Is, thank you for creating a human being that designed this machine. For without this machine, if this had happened 300 years ago, I wouldn't know the damage to my leg and I might never walk again. And with her gratitude, she then said, for she has a very inquiring mind, I wonder how this machine works. And so we showed her graph with resonance image and the magnetic that brought it together of a fish finder. And she said, oh, MRI, a magnetic resonance which creates an image. And then to deepen this one's experience, we traveled with her at that moment into a place on earth that you term Stonehenge. And we got her to move between the stones. And if there were two short stones together, it made a short boing, boing. And if it was wider apart, she went boing, boing. And then we told her, this is resonance, this is frequency, this is vibration. And Stonehenge used to be a receiving and a transmitting station. And that is how the ancients, when she was one, spoke to the gods through the resonance and the vibration of the way that they erected those stones with their tuning forks. And then we explained to this one about the energy of the human body. And so today, Alba, with your permission,
Yes.
we would like to teach humanity how these systems work.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. So we showed this one fine white mist coming into the human mouth. And we said, you may give this many names: prana, life force, blessing, spirit, oxygen, name it whatever you would like. This mouth that every human has, where they get their breath, we want them to think about this as being the lobby of their hotel. And in their hotel, they have 7 floors. And each floor, they have a lift door. As they breathe in, goes through their lobby to their lift door. It runs up and down the lift shaft from the top of the crown to the base of their toes. And instantly, there is a vortex or a portal or an energy transfer system. And as that energy or breath hits it, each lift door opens at exactly the same time in the nano. Pew, pew, pew. It goes through the blood. It goes through the tissue, the veins, the bones, everything that is there. At Alba, men have emotions. And this is when we come to the disease, the dis-ease, and the belief systems. So we showed this one how many men, not women, but many men, hold their anger, their blood boiling, their rage in their chests. And have you not, Alba, heard the term red with rage?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Emotions have color. And this is where the disease comes in, the belief of disease, which is dis-ease, which is belief within oneself. So the red with rage is now dense because color is dense. So instead of that breath and that energy going through that entire chest cavity and feeding and energizing all the cell structures, it now has a blockage. And so only a little bit can go through. go past the gatekeeper that they have put in themselves. Now that part is no longer at ease. It is now at dis-ease. And so the cells malform, malfunction. They can change. Their photonic structure changes. They either become what you term cancer or a heart attack, a blockage. But Alba, it is self-inflicted. Once again, lack of control through the belief system that they have to be a certain way. And as a result, their body is no longer at ease. It is now at dis-ease, and then it becomes disease through that belief system. And then we showed this one. When it comes in, whether you are male or female, no matter what nationality you are, child, adult, no matter what religion you are, you come from Source. You have the breath of Source. It is pure. But what is it going to be when it comes out of your mouthpiece as you speak to those around you? Will you bless them? Or do your words poison them? And as we said in last session, whatever you give out is what you choose to come back to yourself. So there is no surprise that when one gossips about another, which is only because there is lack within self, then that gossip will come back. What is it that you choose? What is your belief system? What dis-ease do you choose for yourself? Know thyself. Be true to thine self. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So as we continue on that same subject, as you use frequencies on these people, whether it be Reiki, whether it be any type of other frequency, how does that help those diseased cells? Does it remind them of what they are?
We had a conversation with this one yesterday when she meets a new person who is on her awakening. And this person told her that her hands were doing funny things. And this one told her that when we taught her to do the healing with her hands, that this hand had to hold the energy and the vibration in place. For this hand was doing the changes of the photonic structure and the vibration and the frequency. For if she removed this hand away, that vibrational photonic structure would be like a drop in the ocean as opposed to a drop in a teacup. We wanted it to be strong energy, and that was a blockage, that was a color, that was a gatekeeper, that was holding the energy in place like a laser beam. So, because you are nothing but vibrations of light, by your very light being, each and every one of you are able to not only heal yourselves, heal your thought, heal your body, but you are able to change the photonic structure of another.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you have today, or do you feel that we are complete with this today?
But today I feel we are complete. I feel that the session is a lot for humans to take in.
Yes.
There was a lot for them to think about, and we would prefer it to be concise today.
Wonderful. What would you like to call this session today?
Self-examination.
Mm. Wonderful. Do you have any parting words for humanity at this time?
Humanity now needs to breathe, for much of their breath is being sabotaged.
Mm-hmm.
For when this one talks like this now, one's words are muffled, and when one removes it, one can hear. We wish for many now to do some self-care, long baths, water is a healer, spend time in nature when allowed, deep breaths, calming music, and of course, Alba, a Zoom session with our queen of frequency, Alba.
Thank you very much for that. 4. And coming back now, taking a deep breath in, breathe in that breath. And 5, back to your body completely. Wow.
Where are you? Where you've gone from me? Let me see. I'm gonna do my.
So we're like a little bit over an hour.
Oh, good, not too long.
Not too long. No, no. What do you remember?
I think everything. But I was very relieved that this one was a little calmer,
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah. Well, I think they know what they're doing. They don't want to shake you up too much. But we were talking about really, it was heavy duty stuff that we were talking about when you think about it. You know, there's a lot of stuff from now.
They want people to be nice.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but it's all very poignant right now. I mean, everything was right on point, and hey, that's
just to be kind to each other and kind to themselves.
Well, that's the big thing is what you think is really we've got to take responsibility for our thoughts. Our thoughts are really creating our reality, our health. There's a lot of people out there who are very emotional, taking on everybody else's issues that are making themselves sick.
Just own yourself.
Yeah.
And that's not selfish. That's actually a gift to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. At the end, take more baths, listen to music. I was waiting to hear turn off the television. I think that was already part of it, but yeah, people have to turn off the news, turn off even the movies are very, very bad. You know, just the stuff that is being ingrained and the children. The talk about the children and how they're already programmed. By the time they get to age 3, they're already feeling inadequate.
Isn't it terrible?
It's sad. 3, yeah. So there's a lot to think about in this session. It really was about examining and what makes people upset. And right now we do have that issue of the masks, which is, I know it's a boiling point with a lot of people. It's crazy. Yeah. In your country, it's not bad at all, right? You don't require.
We're totally free.
You're totally free. Yeah.
Yeah.
And where I live, it's getting stronger. They're actually enforcing the law that you will be fined $100 if you don't wear the mask. So, it's crazy. Crazy
but it
time.
makes me appreciate
What you have.
like today. I think suddenly to myself, I've been so inside for
Yeah.
a few weeks now, where I didn't have to be, but
Right.
I've been doing hypnosis sessions and work and writing and everything. And
Yes.
suddenly today, when I could feel, when they made me feel what it was like behind the mask, I suddenly thought, you know what? You have to get outside today and you've got to go and walk next to the lake and you've got to take deep breaths for all those people who
Yes.
can't do that.
Exactly.
Don't take it for granted.
Yeah, we need to get out there. We need to enjoy nature more. We need to enjoy our family more. We need to use our bodies more. We need to spend time with friends, even if it's chatting online or on the phone. People need to hear your voice, not texting back and forth. Texting doesn't do it. You need to feel.
Check up on people physically because that's a vibration.
Yes, yes. And, I want to take this moment, Jill, because, you've been doing a lot of work. And I really appreciate all the stuff that you're doing. And I'd love for you to tell people a little bit about your automatic writing at this time and how this is come along, because we've been doing these sessions now, but these are different. These are actually prepped by your guides. These are not questions that are just coming out of our heads or for you. This is a discourse between your guides and you.
So, guys, Alba called me and said, can you chat? And I said, no, I'm at the market. I need to get veggies, but I'll phone you in a few minutes. So I got in the car, and on the way home, it was like watching a movie. And they showed me that they wanted Alba to hypnotize me 12 times. And that they will give me the questions to give to Alba that Alba needs to ask, because those are the topics that they want all of you that are watching this to think about. And that's why they want to call it the discourse, because the discourse is nothing else than having a chat, a conversation. So it's just Alba and I, through our guides, because her guides are guiding her as well, just putting a conversation together so that you guys can listen to it and have conversations with your friends and your family to think about what it is that's really, really important to you. And, my husband said to me, I don't know why you're doing this, because do you really think you can make a difference? You're just one person. And without being arrogant, because I do not compare myself to this person at all, but I use as an example, I thought there was Gandhi, and he was only one man, but he did it peacefully.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He started a discourse. Yeah. So one person can make a difference, and every single person listening to this, we're not fabulous, you and I. We're just doing a job, right?
It's our job, yeah.
So
it's our job.
It's a job. So hey guys, you watching, what's your job? You're part of the job. You're part of humanity. You came down here for ascension. So just do the best you can. You'll be surprised. You don't even know what you're doing.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's what they do during my automatic writing. I just say to them, what is it that you wish to share with me today? What is it that you wish to share with humanity? And I don't know what I'm writing. I just type away, because it's not me.
Yeah.
It's them. It's their words. And then I read it and I'm absolutely blown away. So really, as they say, I'm just a mouthpiece.
Yeah. And you do readings too. And you're doing the readings in the same way. You're tapping in.
Yes.
Yeah. Through the writings. Fantastic.
So those readings are blowing me away. Yeah. So Alba, if people do want me to give them a hypnosis session on Zoom, I'm happy to do that, because I feel that the last ones that I've been doing have really worked well. Yeah. I don't think I'm as fabulous as you. I need more experience. But they have been quite fascinating.
Yeah. Well, you have other skills too that you've been channeling during your sessions too. So it makes it's a different
Yes.
twist to it too. Yeah.
So that's different because have you not been doing that with any of
Well,
yours?
I don't know. But in yours is a little bit different. Everybody's different. Everybody's does hypnosis a little bit different. So, I channel when I'm in that state, but not the way you're doing it.
Well, that's because that's the way your photonic structure is. It's your pattern.
That's right. That's right. So, guys, this was an amazing session. I'm glad you stuck through until now, and we'll see how this goes along as we progress. This is a special project we are on, and we'll see how things move along from week to week. So, thanks for watching. Bye.
Cheers.